For the uninitiated, Inktober is a yearly drawing challenge that I'm sure you can guess from its name, happens every October. There's a list of prompts for you to draw, one drawing each day done in ink, where digital drawings count as well. You post them somewhere and tag the official account, and you might get a shoutout if you're lucky, or if you're really good, which I'm not. But anyway, that's how it goes. But in practice, you can really just do whatever you want, and many people come out with their own lists and goals. It's really just a way to practice more and keep consistency at drawing. The point is, this year is my first time actually trying it out, and I thought that I'd share what I made. It was going well for about 2 days, like the first 2 days. But hey, it's the exam and project submission period for me in October, so cut me some slack. I did technically do all the prompts, but most of them are late, and sometimes I just combine multiple into one drawing to speed things up and catch up. In this video, I'll be going through them, discussing my ideas, what I like or don't like about them, that sort of thing. If you can't be bothered to sit through 30 minutes but you're still curious about drawings, which I totally understand, they're all up on my Instagram page and you can go ahead and make fun of them there. And without further ado, let's get right into it. So yeah, here I have my notebook, or rather my sketchbook with me, that I did the challenge in. I'm hoping that the video recording and the audio and everything is fine. I'm doing this literally on my phone, and the mic is on the table beside me. It's quite scuffed, but we make do with what we have. But yeah, so let's get right into it. Okay. So for the first day, the challenge, the prompt was backpack. So I drew a backpack. And it's not very exciting, but I would say this turned out to be maybe one of the better ones, maybe, because I had more time, because I was prepared going into it. So I already set aside some time, and it was the beginning of the month, so there wasn't so many things happening back then. So it ended up pretty okay for a start. I mean, you'll see some mistakes, if I can get my pen. Like the proportions, the angles kind of scuffed. Maybe it's hidden a bit because of all the like sketchiness to it, but like this is very flat, and this is like, if you're looking it from this direction, I don't think you see as much of this, but I'm not a professional. It's whatever, it works. I can't ignore this really horrific attempt at drawing humans, but this is for something else. Yeah. And actually, I say that I'm prepared, but actually I'm already late. Actually, it's not late, because it's based on the Western time zone for the most part, so I'm 1 day ahead, so this is still in technically the 1st of October for some places. But yeah. It's day 1, this is for something else. This is day 2, which I also had decent amount of time, which is, let's see, discovery. Yeah, discovery. So the idea behind this one is, like, this is a puddle, like you're in the woods or something, you're walking, and then, well, this guy's walking, and then he's pointing to the ground at himself in the puddle as a reflection. I like the concept of it. I don't know how well, I think it's not bad. Like, I'm really bad at drawing people. Again, you can see this, like, what was this arm, but yeah. And also the trees, I think, because I was trying to get like an effect to make it seem like there's a lot of foliage without actually drawing individual leaves, because for the most part that's not what you're supposed to do, because it's a waste of time. I think you can kind of see it in like this kind of thing. I think it's more successful on this side. Like this part here was kind of a mess, but on the whole, I think it's not bad. It's still not bad, because I had decent amount of time still. And next one is, I think it's boots. Yeah, it's just boots for the next day. This one's the most glaring mistake. Like, I think this should be like this way. Like, it should not cut. It should not be this. It should be like like this circle. But yeah, and this is like a bit chunky, weirdly shaped. But it's okay, it's alright. It's fine. This one is day 4, exotic. This one's quite interesting, I guess, in concept because depending on where you're from watching this, I don't actually know. If you're American, it's like, what is this? Okay, is it exotic because it's Chinese? But then, to me, it's exotic because in Asian culture, in Chinese culture, we don't have this as a Chinese takeout box. Like, this is not a thing. Like, we just have food in styrofoam boxes and whatever, but we don't have this. This is a very American thing. But then, or rather, American Chinese thing, maybe. So to me, it's quite exotic, but maybe in a different sense, or maybe it's not even exotic to people who are living in the Americas or Europe, maybe. But I'm not too sure about that. Yeah, I like the concept of this. I mean, it's not a very difficult drawing. It's literally a box, so I thought, it's okay. It's okay. And then this is day 5, which is binoculars. I think based on this. It's a pair of binoculars. Nothing special. It's alright. And then the next day is... Oh, actually, I really like this one. I think it's probably one of my favorites one out of the challenge that I did. Like, in terms of the skill or the artistic value. Oh, no, like more of the skill. Yeah, just the skill involved. It's probably not too exciting. It's probably not great because I know that there's a lot of mistakes. Like this part here is like this bits of like random dark bits. It's meant to be like shadows. Not shadows, but like the gaps in between the plants. But then it's very odd because it like over here I think it's okay because you can see the general shape of the like plant. The plant, I don't know what this is supposed to be. It's like a cattail kind of thing. That kind of idea of a plant. But you can see that, and then you can see like, oh, these are the gaps, and you can make out the shape. So I think it's still okay here. But here, because the idea is meant to be like more messy, more grassy, more foliage, so you don't really see the individual shapes. But because of that, when you have obvious like circular, basically black blobs here, it makes it really jarring and it's really weird. So this is definitely a mistake. But yeah, I like the idea. It's a guy walking through. I think the theme for this one is trek, if I'm not wrong. Something like that. There was a lot of like walking ones, trek, hike, that kind. Yeah, but this was what I thought of, and I liked the idea of it. I was inspired by Andrew Wyeth's Christina's World, like in terms of like the grassy field looking over to a farm, that kind of vibe. So yeah, I like the idea of it. I think it would be very nice as a painting if I ever try doing that. I might try doing that. But yeah, I like the concept of it. I think the composition is quite nice. And maybe you can kind of tell I'm trying to go for like a wind that's blowing through. That's why you have these lines here. That's kind of like the wind going this way. It's like slowly blowing through. But maybe it's not that obvious. And this is day 7, and this is your passport, I think. Yeah. I didn't know who to draw. I think drawing like actual person is too much trouble, so I went with outdated meme, the Among Us. Yeah. Nothing too special. I mean, it's just a passport. I mean, I thought of drawing like an actual passport, like the cover page with the emblem or the crest of a certain country. But I thought that's kind of boring, and actually it might be more difficult in some ways because some countries' ones are very, very intricate, and I didn't have a lot of time for that. Yeah. If you see the date, yeah, this is so late. This is on the 10th, which, what happens when it's late? I think I did like a couple. I'll either combine multiple drawings or just do like a bunch of prompts all in one go to try to catch up. It's not perfect, but it might be against the rules or whatever. But the point is, getting full 31 days worth of drawing. I think that's the point. I get it's meant to be consistency, but I was really, really busy with all the assignments and everything during this period. So yeah, This I don't like this. This I think this is really ugly. Like there's barely any shading. There's no details. This figure is so ugly. Yeah, it's just bad. I mean, I feel like without the figure, it might be slightly better. I also kind of cheated because this is like pencil, this graphite to get that illusion of like a fog or a gradient kind of thing because it's just so bad. I still don't like it, but you know, you make do with what you have. I mean, the Steam was Hike, and it's done. I did not date that, but I'm pretty sure it was done on the same day. So like this one had like a lot of effort, and I was like, oh wait, I spent way too long on this one. I have like how many was it? Like two more to catch up. So I just like, let me just get something out. This one was also on the same day. It's sun, I think. The theme was sun, so drew a sun for face. This one actually I don't hate it too much. I mean, it can definitely be improved, but I wanted to explore with like the lines, the chaotic nature of, because I mean, like, you know, sun, you usually imagine, or like maybe in kindergarten or something, you draw with like the straight lines and stuff, but like, I mean, in reality it's like fire, you know, it doesn't conform to like a straight line. It's usually a bunch of curves and stuff. So I tried to like make out, I didn't start with the circle. I actually started with all like these kinds of lines first to get like a rough circle, which is also why the face isn't exactly in the middle, because I added this circle, like this more obvious circle arc kind of thing afterwards, and I added it slanted. But yeah, it's alright. It's alright. I like the concept of it. I think it could look even nicer. I think it's not bad, considering the time constraint and everything. Also undated, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure those three just now are the same day. And this is nomadic, is it? Yeah, nomadic. This is done 2 days later, also late because busy. It's okay. It's very simple. Cause I was imagining like the Mongolian plains kind of vibe with the yak and like I don't know what this is meant to be. I mean, you can think of it as a yurt, I guess, but maybe just a tent or like a house or something. But it's more of the vibes. It's very simple, nothing really special. It's alright. This one is snack, day 11 snack. I went with this because I was like, I just thought it was interesting. I just thought it was funny. Like a can of mysterious food question mark. You don't even know if it's food, and it reminded me of like the Omega Mart stuff, which it's a really cool thing. I hope maybe someday I can go there to actually visit the museum thing, exhibition thingy in person. Yeah, kind of based on that weirdness idea, because I just thought it was interesting. But skill wise, nothing spectacular. It's a cylinder with that's about it. Some texturing. This one was remote. Oh, I also like the concept of this one, actually, which is, what was it again? Oh yeah, because remote, like remote control, but also remote because like a remote location, which is in here, in the TV. So, and then this like lines kind of make it so that you like, it's directing you into the television, using a remote to go to a remote location, like remote, haha. Yeah, I think conceptually, I think it could be, it's quite cool. Obviously, like the remote has like no detail. The TV is very basic as well, and oh yeah, I think one idea was that it would be even cooler. Like this weird shadow thingy here is meant to be like you imagine this entire white space as like a dark room, and then the TV is like the only light source that's pointing out to make it more eerie, more interesting. Also to increase that kind of isolation idea in remote. So yeah, I think the composition, the idea is nice, but again, execution wise, I just don't have the skill for that or the time for that. So maybe I'll redo it in the future or something. This one is, I can't remember actually. horizon. Oh, I was thinking of like event horizon of a black hole. That's why this is meant to be a black hole, although it doesn't really look like one. Um, yeah, not great. Kind of looks like an eye. I think it would be better like this one as well if the background was all black. And oh yeah, I think I didn't mention. Um, I wanted. It's not like I didn't think of it. Like I wanted the background to be black, but I'm not. Do you see how thin these pen strokes are? Like I'm not going to be spending time coloring this entire white patch with like these lines. Like that's gonna take forever. Like I'm not doing that. Like it's meant to be a fun sketch challenge every day, but I'm not a professional artist and I'm busy, so it just seemed like too much work. Same thing with this. Like I think if everything else was black, maybe I kept some areas empty for like the effect of like stars and stuff. I think it would be quite cool, and it might look slightly more like a black hole. This one isn't great in general, but yeah, I think that might be a slight improvement. Again, pressed for time. This is done 14th, and it's prompt number 12 and 13, so that would make it, yeah, it's like a day behind as well. This one, I think, I hate all the ones where like I am drawing people because I suck at it. I clearly need more practice, but I just can't be bothered. But anyway, yeah, it's just not very lame. This one is, oh yeah, this was, I think maybe the first time I combined 2 days worth, 14 and 15 roam and guidebook. So this guy is roaming, and then he arrived here, and he's referring to his guidebook to tell him where to go, or rather saying that he's going the wrong way. It's meant to be like funny, like this guy who's standing on a rock in like, this is meant to be like a river or something, or like some water body. Then he's reading it, which says you're going the wrong way, and he can't read. So fantastic, like haha, funny. Yeah, let's move on. Oh, don't know if you recognize this figure if you play the game, Honkai Star Rail, not sponsored, but if you do, you probably recognize this person. Grungy. Okay, like I get the idea of what grungy is in a very vague way, like that, like a certain aesthetic comes up in mind, but like I feel pressed for time and I don't like drawing people already, so I was like, grungy is kind of like that messy-ish aesthetic vibe kind of thing, but also kind of cool in a way. That's why I came up with like this, like a metal trash can, a buff metal trash can. I mean, I don't know, I can't really explain it. It just kind of fits the vibe, I think, in my opinion. Yeah, pretty alright. Also, technically, my first piece of Honkai Star Rail fan art is this person, this trash can. So yeah, that's a fun tidbit. Next, this is like, yeah, this combining 3 days worth, 17, 18, 19, journal plus drive plus ridge. So you have a journal, which is what it's set on, and the car is driving, so that's where the drive is, and there's a ridge. Wow, isn't that amazing? Yeah, this is super rushed, it's super ugly. Like my original idea was so much cooler. Like this is meant to be like, yeah, a journal, but it's like a dream journal. So I was gonna have like imagination and like all sorts of crazy thing. I mean, I can still have the car driving the ridge, but it will look more spectacular than like this and this monstrosity. It will look a lot nicer. Even the book itself, like, what is this? But yeah, it's another one that I didn't really like. What? Blank page. Oh, I remember, because this was based on the prompt drive. Yeah, I think. Yeah, it's meant to be. Sorry, this car one, because I was thinking drive. What else can I drive? Like cars, obviously, right? And this is supposed to be a sketch for the. I don't think you can see anything. This is supposed to be, my idea was like, this is a rear view mirror. Oh my god, like English. And there's a driver, and then he's looking all sad. You know, he's driving the car, looking all sad at the. Actually, no, that's not the driver. The driver sits here, at least from where I live. This is the backseat passenger looking all sad. It's meant to be like a really cool scene, and then maybe here I just put like the front view window, and then it's like the empty road, and it's all foggy and rainy. It's meant to be very like emotional kind of thing, but I felt like, you know, that idea came into my head, and I was like, oh, I really want to draw that, but I don't have the time, so I sketched this out. It's just a rectangle, and there's like some notes. Yeah, to remind me that maybe next time if I had the time, I'll go back and do that. Yeah. So I left this blank for that purpose. Although, now thinking of it, it's kind of wasting a page. I could have just written it down, but whatever. This is the next days, which is Uncharted. I don't know how many people recognize this thing. This thing. If you do, then wow, that's, I don't know how many people recognize it. It's from a cartoon, a French cartoon called Lyoko. Don't know how many people know of that. I loved it. I still do. I think it's a great show. The reboot, or like the live action adaptation, yes, they got one as well. Surprise, surprise. A lot of people criticized it, but I watched it once. I don't think it's that bad. It's just cause, again, it changed some of the fundamental rules, which I agree it's quite dumb, but on the whole, I think it's okay. Just look at it as a piece on its own. And also, I don't really remember, because it was like, there was only 20 episodes compared to the original, which had like 87 or something. And the 20 episodes they were only English. Sorry, not English. They were only French dub, and I don't understand French, so I was just kind of playing it in the background. And it's kind of like background noise in a way. So I was like half-hearted watching. So I don't really remember what happened. But anyway, Uncharted, because reference to this episode, which is called Uncharted Territory in English, I think, where they discover a new sector, a new area, and then they arrive here. Yeah, that idea. This one is the next day. Combination again, rhinoceros and camp. You have rhino and a tent. Okay, this one's kind of weird. It's not done very well, but the idea is like you have a rhinoceros. It's meant to be like, you know, those surrealist artworks that just don't make any sense. Yeah, it's kind of like that. Yes, the tent. He's not coming out of the tent. He is a part of the tent. The tent is like fused into his body. Although you can't, I want to keep the distinction clear so you don't think that he was coming out of it. But I think in this case it's kind of confusing a bit. Yeah, it's not great, and the shadow, like this shadow doesn't make sense. I think, plus this is the other side. I think maybe if I meant the gravity also doesn't make sense because it's not pinned down. So I guess maybe if there's wind, but then it will float higher in this way. But anyway, yeah, it's not great. But that's the idea. Then this one is this is a saw. I think the theme was rusty, so it's a rusty saw. Don't need much explanation. This is the rust. I think the effect of rust worked quite well. Maybe not here, but like here, because I did like circular motions to kind of give it that texture. Yeah, I think it's alright. Next thing is Expedition, and this is kind of interesting one. 'Cause Expedition, you would think walking, right? But then, if you recall, we already had trek, hike, and I think something else that had to do with walking. And I was like, I'm not drawing another person. I refuse. So this is kind of like a protest in that sense. But it still fits because, you know, when you go on expeditions, usually there's like, I don't know, a scoutmaster or something, someone at the front leading the way that maybe is holding a flag. You know, use your imagination. This one is from another video game. And the prompt is Scarecrow for this one. I hope you can tell this is supposed to be Scarecrow. This character is Rabies from Reverse 1999. He's like a doctor, scarecrow person made of hay. I'm not actually not that sure about his lore, but yeah, he's a scarecrow. Pretty nice. I think this is probably like one of the better drawn characters. I know this arm's still kind of wonky, but yeah, in terms of like the pose and stuff, because I mean this is just based off of the art in the game. That's why it looks slightly more accurate than when I tried to make up my own pose without looking at references because I was lazy. So yeah, slightly. I think it's quite nice, quite cute. And as you can see, this is only day 25, and what happened? Well, you see, I don't know if you can tell, there's no more paper. So what happened, right? It appears that I've actually managed to use up my entire sketchbook that I've owned since 2020 or 2021, for at least two to 3 years, by doing this challenge, which is, honestly, I'm not complaining. I think it's a good thing. It would have taken me my entire life probably if I actually wanted to fill this and keep trying to strive for perfection for every piece, but this gave me an excuse to actually use it. But that doesn't mean that I stopped the challenge here, alright? The book is not where it ends, because what I did is I went ahead and got myself a second not scrapbook, you confused me, sketchbook. But this is also used like this other stuff in front, and the difference being that it has brown paper instead of white paper, but I like that. I actually bought it because of the purpose. But, let's find the... God, it's hard to do this with one hand. Okay, I believe, if I'm not wrong, it's upside down, but day 26. I think that sounds about right. Okay, yeah. I'm pretty sure. So this is the next one, day 26. Camera. No, it was not camera. Wait, was it camera? What did it say? Oh, it is camera. Okay. I got confused. Because I titled it... This is like one of the few ones that I actually gave a title because I thought the idea was funny. So, it's a cheese on a stool and it's camera pointing at it and the title is Say Cheese because, that's what you say when you take pictures, and that's funny. Yeah, let's move on. This one is Road, I think. Yeah, Bridge Road. I'm too lazy to go and like flip the thing over. I think it's just faster. I'm sure you can read that. But anyway, Road. Yeah. One of those things, again, it would be better if the whole area was blacked out because it's meant to be like light shining on a fraction of a road. Like the light is not only meant to illuminate this part. It doesn't mean like the light only shines under this part and the rest of the road you can't see. No, it's meant to be just a segment of the road, I guess. But I guess you can imagine like the whole picture being like framed in this kind of size, not like the whole thing. Again, press for time, so instead of drawing a whole road, I mean, it's a road, alright? Like, you can imagine what happens here. I don't need to draw that, I think you get the idea. Yeah. And, what's this? Nothing again. Because guess what? I ran out of paper again. This is the second book that I've run out of paper on. So I had to go and find myself a third one. So, this is it. And I was quite lucky to have this, even though this paper quality, no offense to the company, but compared to the other ones, it's quite garbage. I don't like using it. I just bought it because it was on sale, and when I was starting, I was like, I need paper. This is better than printed paper, right? I'll just use this. Which it is, but it's not great. Like this one isn't meant for drawing, I think. It's, like, what is this, scrapbook? I think it's meant to, like, paste pictures and stickers and stuff, but I like the color, I like the texture. I can draw on it relatively well. I think pen doesn't work that well on it because the surface is kind of glossy, but I think it still worked pretty well, so I have no issues with that. Anyway, yeah, then the next day's prompt is jumbo. Yes, jumbo. And the reason why it's a crab is because in Singapore there's a famous chili crab restaurant that's called Jumbo, and I was like, I really can't think of anything, so let's use that. But it's not advertisement or anything, so big crab, a jumbo size crab, uh, tree for scale. So yeah, fantastic. And moving on, we have damn it. Okay. Compass, I think. No, navigation, I think. Yeah, navigation, and I drew a compass. I would, if I would change it now, I would like give more details of the compass, because this kind of just looks like a watch face. Doesn't really quite look like a compass, but I think the hand adds a nice touch, so it's not just a compass. Yeah, but nothing special. And we come to the end. This is the last day, or last 2 days I've fused into one, which is violin and landmark. So guy playing violin, and landmark, I chose this horse, which is like the chess piece, because I don't know, I just thought it would look pretty cool if it was blown up to scale, and became a landmark. It's not, I don't think it's an actual landmark in places. I mean, one could argue the symbolism of horses when it comes to statues and the role that it plays and all, but anyway, yeah, not really any specific reason why it's a horse chess piece for landmark, but I just felt like it, and it was, it was close to the end of the challenge. I just wanted to finish it. And yeah, that's all for the challenge. Amazing. Okay, so that was a long video, but to be fair, it's probably around 1 to 2 minutes per drawing for 20 something drawings, so anyway, if you stayed this long, comment, I don't know, taco or something, and thank you so much. I hope you've enjoyed this and maybe even inspired you to try out something similar, or maybe just go ahead and doodle something if you're free or are interested in drawing but never dared to try. Well, happy drawing!